is exactly 8 p.m. on this 23rd of December 2022. You are watching Lookuptv, but more subtly, Lookup Weekend. My name is Simba. Elijah Charles Kiage. Catch us up online at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. But for now, let's take a look at the main stories that are taking center stage in our bulletin tonight. Tonight on Lookup Weekend, 3 suspects linked to gouging out baby Sagini's eyes plead not guilty. President William Ruto makes major parastatal changes, appointing engineer Michael Kamau to chair NHIF board. Travelers stranded as public transport operators hike bus fare ahead of a Christmas Day. And 100 days of Ruto's government on its way in. Thank you very much for making time. Our sign language interpreter this evening is Felista Adundo. On to the first story. The main suspect in the bizarre incident that saw the gouging of the eyes of a 3-year-old Junior Sagini will now spend more days in police custody for further investigation. 3 suspects, Senior Magistrate Christine Oweno ruled the 3 to remain in custody up to January 18th.
Francisca Nyakirario, Rael Nyakirario and their son Alex Maina appeared before the Senior Magistrate Christine Oweno for the second time. The 3 main suspects pleaded not guilty to the charges of taking part in bizarre incident which led to gouging of the eyes of 3-year-old Junior Sagini.
I make the following orders. 1, that the state's application in opposition of bond or bail is merited and therefore allowed. 2, that the accused persons shall be remanded without bond or bail awaiting trial. 3, that the accused persons may make an application for bond or bail in the future in the event of changed circumstances. And 4, that the court shall ensure a fair and expeditious trial considering the decision rendered herein.
Magistrate Ogeno accepted the request made by the prosecution to retain the suspect up to 18th January next year for further investigations.
And any other directions. For now, the first accused person shall be remanded at the male GK prison at Kisii. The second and third to be remanded at the female GK prison at Kisii.
Shadrack Kareria, Lookuptv.
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, continues with its stakeholders engagement to review its performance in the just concluded general elections. Today, the Commission met with the representatives of various political parties as part of collecting views that will inform policy framework of the Commission and key changes to better future elections.
Up to the last general elections, the Commission, through a series of engagements with PPLC, sought not only to strengthen the existing collaborative framework, but engineer initiatives seeking to address challenges encountered in 2017 general elections. The Commission has embarked on post-election evaluation following the successful 2022 general election. Post-election evaluation is not only an international best practice, but is also anchored in our Constitution as a core mandate of the Commission, and you have been told about Article 88, 4H of the Constitution, which obligates the Commission to facilitate the observation, monitoring, and evaluation of elections. We started this process by staff debrief sessions to review and learn from the experience of 2022 general election. This was the first stage of the evaluation, and it aimed at providing a platform for open canvassing of the conduct of the 2022 general election. Since September 2022, the Commission has been engaging various electoral stakeholders and receiving feedback on the general election. Today is is your day as political parties. It has been said that we put you last, but normally we save the best for the last. Everything we discuss here will be captured and will be put in the post-election evaluation report. The assessment, experiences, and feedback we receive from you will be the cornerstone of a report that will be drawn to guide the Commission in policy direction and strategic planning for future activities in the electoral process. The findings and recommendations of the post-election evaluation will be shared with the government institution, the government partners, yourselves, as stakeholders involved in the electoral process. And all this is done as a step towards embedding democracy in Kenya through conduct of free, fair, and credible elections.
Now, with our festival season hitting climax, hundreds of passengers remained stranded across different bus stations in a last-minute rush to travel up country for the festivities. Ian Kitani with more details on that story.
Bus fares almost double. Many Kenyans remain stranded at different bus stations here in Nairobi due to shortage of vehicles, with Christmas being just a day away. With the skyrocketing cost of living, many Kenyans have been left grappling with limited options, many of them traveling up country for the festivities. Hundreds of passengers remained stranded in bus stations across Nairobi due to shortage of vehicles, some of them venting their frustrations due to hiked bus fares.
Tumekaa hapa no trip tangu saa moja, magari haziko, tuko tu tumekaa, hakuna magari na bado tunategea.
I'm traveling to Eldoret. Right now we are paying 1,700. We have waited for about 2 hours.
Matatu operators have been forced to hike bus fares due to the high cost of fuel and the large number of travelers, a move that hasn't gone well with many of the passengers.
Mimi nafanya kazi hapa Northrift. Nauli ndio tumeongeza, lakini tujiongeza sana. Tuko na ukosefu wa magari kwa sababu watu hawatoki chini kuja Nairobi. So that's why unaona tunajaribu ili wasilale hapa, wasafiri, tunapanga hizi gari unaona hapa nyuma. Na tujiongeza nauli yenye na tumetolewa bei kwa ofisi. Leo tunakatia 1,700, Bungoma Kitale tunakata shilingi 2,000.
Baba yao nafanya ndio naye mimi ndio chairman, na msimu huu wa Krismasi kazi haijapiki vile ilikuwa inafaa, sababu sasa hizi tunabeba na 2,500 na hizo siku zote tumekuwa tunabeba na 3,000 na inaonekana kazi iko chini kidogo, kwa sababu ya nafikiria ni kwa sababu pia kumekuwa na uchaguzi hivi karibuni na imesababisha watu wengi wajakuwa kusafiri.
Some of the passengers were forced to halt their travels as they couldn't be able to part ways with a huge amount of money.
Natokea katika kaunti ya Bungoma, so nimekuja hapa hivi kufanya nini? Kukata tiketi ya kwenda Bungoma. So nikaona fare imehike, nikaona hapana, wacha tu nitulie na hizo 3K zangu. Juu niko na mama, nikienda na mama hizo ni 6K, nikirudi ni almost 12K, na next year ndio hiyo imekam. Tuko na school fees zimetungojea.
Town service operators were also forced to ferry passengers going to country due to the shortage of vehicles plying those routes. Many passengers continue to decry the high cost of living and hiked bus fares. However, they remain relentless in a bid to wait and board buses to their different destinations to at least spend the festivities with their loved ones. Ian Kitani, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Former Transport Cabinet Secretary Michael Kamau has been appointed as the chairperson of the National Health Insurance Fund, NHIF. Kamau replaces Lewis Nguyai, whose appointment was revoked by the president. And as a reporter, Simba Charles Kiage now explains, this latest appointment is just one of the many changes made by the president in what appears to be his last move to clean out his predecessor's appointments and have a crucial oversight of key government institutions. While giving the former Transport Cabinet Secretary a lease of life under his government, read in part that Michael Kamau will be chair of NHIF for a period of 3 years in the Gazette notice dated December 23rd, 2022. In what pundits now call the president's move to clean out Uhuru Kenyatta's men from office, the head of state also announced the appointment of several leaders to head plum parastatal jobs. Job Churchill has been appointed as the chairperson of the Kenya Forest Service, KFS, replacing the long-serving Peter Kinyua. Retired Lieutenant General Walter Raria Koipaton was also appointed to serve as the chairperson of the Kenya Wildlife Service Board for a 3-year term beginning Friday, December 23rd, 2022, replacing Dr. John Waithaka. Julius Karangi, who previously served as the chairperson of the National Social Security Fund Board of Trustees, has also been revoked by the president. His replacement, Anthony Muriuki Munyiri. Karangi has since been moved to the National Council for Population and Development Board, where will serve as the chairperson for a period of 3 years. Former Nyamira County gubernatorial aspirant Walter Nyambati has also been appointed to serve a 3-year term as the chairperson of the board of Geothermal Development Company. Faith Boynet replaced Rita Achieng Okude on the board of directors of the Kenya Pipeline Company Limited for a 3-year term. It is now 100 days after Ruto took over office, and this is now looked at as his rush to deliver on some of his campaign promises. Already, his promise to reform the police service already saw him recall former Chief Justice from his retirement to lead a task force charged with reviewing police officers' pay and benefits. For Look Up Weekend, Simba, Elijah Charles Kiage. Now, a 14-year-old Belinda Shallow from Uprising Education Center in Atasi and Bakassi has beaten all odds in scoring high marks over 399 in the just concluded KCB examinations. With tears of joy narrating before the media her excitement, Shallow states that her efforts have yielded fruit after long years of struggle and receiving help from the center's director. Here is Moses Okech with that story.
When life seemed to have lost its meaning to the 14-year-old girl from Riverbank slums in Embakasi, when she bolted out of school due to lack of school fees and food as her parents survived on menial jobs.
Kazi yenye nafanya nilikuwa napata tu pengine chakula ya kukula.
My mother could not have that money, she could not afford it, so I had to come to school like that.
This was the beginning of a success story after a good Samaritan came knocking and breathing life to a dream that was lost for Belinda Shallow. Shallow, who scored 399 marks at Uprising Primary School, describes the dips and downs she had to undergo for her success.
I had to go to school early in the morning without taking something at the house. It was really hard, but my head teacher always told me that if you want to reach the moon, first you must aim at the stars. I had to aim at 500 because I wanted to score a 400.
In addition, she stated it as a mere luck to have met the school director Catherine Dunda, who fully sponsored her studies alongside other needy kids from poor families.
I really thank her because if not for her, I don't think that these marks I have now, I could not have it. Thank you from wherever you are, my school director.
She was really desperate. The parent was like, she was giving up with the kids. So I decided to support her. She has really been trying. She has really been showing me that she can make it. And today I'm standing here very proud of her.
The little girl who hopes to join Alliance Girls High School hopes to pursue law and give back to the community by supporting needy kids like herself realize their dreams.
I want to give recommendance to these low-esteemed families. I want to be the president of the Law Society of Kenya so that I can help these children who are here. I don't want them to pass through what I passed through. If I just go there, I will put more effort because I want to learn and remove my parents in these problems that they have.
In the same line, Lawrence Gesora, who has been on his own after being placed in the hands of well-wishers by his parents and scoring 391 marks, tells the same story.
no electricity in the house and everywhere in the street. So I had to go and try to tell the shopkeeper to give me just a candle to use it for a few days.
The school is one of the private schools that had good results, with only 29 KCPE candidates recording a mean score of 350.75 points. Moses Okech, Lookuptv.
Did good stories of a victory there from those candidates who now wait to see which schools they'll join next in their journey in education. We take a short break right here on a Look Up Weekend. Once we come back, more stories lined up.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Mwangi's Institute of Cosmetology. We are TVET and NITA approved training institute in the following courses: School of Hairdressing and Beauty Therapy, School of Fashion Design, Event Management and Decoration, School of Interior Design and Beadwork, School of Advanced Nail Technology, and School of Makeup Artistry. We are located at Kim's Plaza, Equity Bank Building, 4th floor, Oginga Odinga Street, Eldoret. Call us on 0715-046-499 or email us at mwangiscosmetologyinstitute@gmail.com. Mwangi's Institute of Cosmetology, empowering tomorrow's generation today.
So mimi nilikuwa mmoja wa timu kubwa hasa na gojea mazao yake.
Na bila shaka mpenzi mtazamaji, ni awamu nyingine tena ya bunge la mwenyeji ambapo tunasikia tu maoni ya wenyeji, hasa wananchi wa kawaida. Je, maoni ni yapi?
Anakwambia wananchi ndio kila kitu. Unaona dipsi na system ni wananchi. Unaona vile wamenyorosha watu bwana.
Tumeng'oa nanga kwenye bunge la mwenyeji.
So ile kitu nasema tunamuomba asituachilie.
Welcome back to Look Up Weekend. Now, President William Ruto's administration was elected on the backdrop of a well-documented manifesto that contained elaborate plans on how to address the country's ailing economy through the bottom-up economic model, which with a great emphasis, on uplifting the economic capabilities of citizens at the lowest cadre, popularly referred to as hustlers. His campaigns were full of promises of what his government intends to achieve at various stages of his regime. Now, it's exactly 100 days in office since his election as a head of state. Today, we take a look at his performance from the promises, the achievements, the challenges, and how the future looks like for the man given the mandate to lead Kenya for the next 5 years. Our reporter, Hombre Tender, on that front.
Wafula Chebukati, Chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, hereby declares that Ruto William Samoei.
When William Ruto was declared president by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC at Bomas of Kenya, that marked the beginning of a journey for the new regime in the country, taking over the mantle of leadership from retired President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. President Ruto's reign starting officially after his election was upheld by the Supreme Court of Kenya after a petition by opposition leader Raila Odinga challenging his victory was thrown out.
It is our finding that the declared president-elect attained 50% plus one of all the votes cast in accordance with Article 138(4) of the Constitution.
For a man who had served as deputy president for 10 years in the previous administration, President William Ruto led a revolutionary campaign with his key messages targeting the economically disadvantaged population through his hustler mantra. The head of state in his campaigns promising to bring about a radical economic change through the bottom-up economic model he believes has answers to most challenges facing the modern Kenya. Indeed, this was captured in his manifesto launch at Kasarani Indoor Arena Stadium.
Our intervention is threefold. Number one, we want to create business infrastructure for these people. There must be markets, there must be spaces, there must be areas where business can be done legitimately and decriminalize people's enterprises. Number two, there must be legislation to protect everybody's business. It's time that we move into the digital space. That's where the whole world is going anyway. Most of our services are now on a digital platform.
In the campaign period leading up to his election as the head of state, the nation was facing all manner of challenges, some stemming from the corona pandemic that shook the economy of the whole world. Back home, the country was facing unprecedented skyrocketing prices of basic commodities beyond the reach of majority of households. There were also massive job losses. President Ruto's campaign team usually capitalized on these challenges and constructed their messaging to promise hope for majority of citizens who were at the brink of despair. The head of state made his promises both short-term and long-term. In the short term, President William Ruto promised to significantly bring down the cost of living.
Tumekubaliana kama Kenya Kwanza ya kwamba kazi yetu ya kwanza ni kupunguza gharama ya maisha. Kwa kupunguza gharama ya mbolea, tulete ile mbolea inauzwa saa hii 7,000 mpaka shilingi 2,000.
Ensure the police force had an independent budget, swear in the judges his predecessor, retired President Uhuru Kenyatta, refused to swear into office on ground of misconduct, set aside 50 billion hustlers fund, among other notable promises. So how has he fared on in his 100 days in office? True to his word during campaigns, President William Ruto in his swearing-in speech announced the police budget was to be moved with immediate effect from the office of the national government to the police service unit to enjoy financial autonomy. This, President Ruto has delivered.
Financial independence of the police will give impetus to the fight against corruption and end the political weaponization of the criminal justice system, an undertaking I made to the people of Kenya.
In the same speech, the head of state announced he would swear in judges his predecessor had refused to swear in.
To further demonstrate my commitment to the independence of the judiciary, this afternoon I will appoint the 6 judges already nominated for appointment to the Court of Appeal, which was done 3 years ago by the Judicial Service Commission. And tomorrow, I shall preside over their swearing in so that they can get on with the business of serving the people of Kenya.
And less than a week later, the judges were sworn in at State House, Nairobi.
I do swear in the name of the Almighty God to diligently do justice in accordance with this constitution.
President Ruto had positioned himself as a man ready to deliver on his pre-election promises, and many Kenyans were expecting a sharp decrease in prices of basic food commodities commodities based on this momentum. However, the head of state adopted a rather unexpected mode of operation. When the country was expecting a reduction in fuel prices, especially on petroleum products, President Ruto announced an end to a subsidy program that sought to cushion Kenyans from high fuel costs. In effect, the prices soared to new highs, rising for the first time by 20 shillings margin. The commander-in-chief arguing that the move was necessary to dismantle cartels in the oil industry.
It's quite clear to me, and I think to everybody, and it must be clear to the president, that if he didn't believe us when we told him that the times are hard, he now has come face to face with the reality that the times are so hard.
On the skyrocketing prices of food products, President Ruto abandoned his promise to reduce the prices in his 100 days, saying a reduction in prices will be felt in a year's time after harvest. Facilitate this, the Kenya Kwanza government launched fertilizer subsidy, targeting short trains with a projected increase in harvest as a result. The pressure to address the prevailing high prices on food has weighed in for President William Ruto and his Kenya Kwanza government.
He has had to say that he's not going to do some of the things he had promised. Key among the things he had promised the people of Kenya in his first 100 days was to do with the cost of living. This is something to do with petrol, price of fuel, price of maize flour, unga, and he has said he needs a year. I think that sticks out. And whatever else you say you are doing, to the extent that the thing that the majority of the people who voted for you are waiting for has been kind of shelved, and you're asking for a year, not even 200 days, a whole year. That, I think, is what stands out.
Hakuna pesa, hakuna kazi ya kufulia watu sipati. Kukula hata kwa nyumba ninalala na hii tukiangaliana haijanunulika papa. Sasa nitasema nini?
Sasa ningependa ashughulikie ile ahadi aliahidi. Juu alisema akiingia atarekebisha uga ichukue chini na wananchi wakuwe tu sawa. Sasa wananchi tunahangaika. Kama mimi ni mechanic na hakuna kazi.
Akasema tu akiweka Biblia chini hivi, unga itafanya nini? Itateremuka. Baada ya Biblia kuweka tukaambiwa siku 100.
Watu waashe kuwa na wa mrengo huu mwingine ama huu, tupige serikali na bado iko mpya. Tugoje, itatenda mambo mazuri na Kenya itasimama na njaa itaisha.
The head of state announced that the ban that had been imposed on genetically modified organisms GMO had been lifted to allow in GMO foods in the Kenyan market in measures aimed at addressing the shortage. The government had already moved to procure millions of bags of GMO maize before the court stopped its importation. The GMO debate in the country is currently a hot topic and has received opposition from quarters who are concerned about the product's effect on health.
The thing that stands out about GMOs, the merits or otherwise, whether at some point we would have accepted that we have GMOs is not the point. The point is the hurry with which the president has addressed and implemented the issue of GMO. The hurry. Remember, he used the outgoing cabinet, which in my thinking did not have the force of law. He could not even wait to appoint his cabinet. He had not even nominated his cabinet. The hurry with which he sanctioned the introduction of GMOs in the country is very suspect.
Far from the promise on food and fuel prices, President Ruto, true to his word, has launched the Hustlers Fund, his key campaign tool to provide funds to millions of Kenyans. The government projecting that the fund will help hustlers to improve their personal finances through affordable loans. The Hustlers Fund is up and running in his 100 days and has seen more than 15 million Kenyans benefit.
This is a fund that will transform the bottom of our pyramid. 10 million Kenyans, as you stated here, Your Excellency, have been locked out because of punitive and predatory lending. Many Kenyans, given an opportunity, are hardworking, and given a chance, they can move from bottom to the highest level.
Hawa mahasulas ya William Ruto hawana logbook, hawana title, ni simu peke yake na yeye mwenyewe ndio waweze kusaidika. So we are asking, please, let all critics and theorists and analysts give the Hustler Nation a break.
In the Hustler Fund, nobody will be excluded. There will be no exclusions. Everybody will be given a chance. And I want to ask, those of you who will be given a second chance, please do not abuse that second chance. Use it well. It will work for you. It will work for your future. It will work for your business. It will work for your family.
The Commander-in-Chief has initiated projects to meet some of his long-term promises. President Ruto has commissioned affordable housing projects in Kibera and Mavoko, Machakos County. Affordable healthcare is also in the offing, as the head of state has proposed measures his administration believes will facilitate his promise of universal healthcare through a national healthcare insurance scheme. For 100 days in office, President William Ruto has performed quite well. Things are moving in regards with his key pre-election promises, albeit with a few challenges here and there.
What I take as a positive from President Ruto's few days in office is the energy. He seems to have sufficient energy to run government. And looking around at how many engagements he has had, both locally and internationally, it comes out very clear that we are looking at a president with a lot of energy and willing to dedicate that energy to the running of this country.
His 5 years in office promises an interesting read. Henry Tende, Lookuptv.
Let's cross over to sports right here on a Look Up weekend, where Vihiga Queens humiliated Kangemi Ladies at 12-0 in the Women's Premier League yesterday at the Mumia Sports Complex. Maureen Amour scored a hat-trick, while Faith Ongachi helped herself with a brace in the lopsided encounter that also saw Diana Cherono, Robai Kebendi and Felicitas Kadari record their names on the score sheet. After the win, the three-time KWPL champions are now top of the table with 6 points from 2 games, while Kangemi remain at bottom at the table with 0 points. Lack of structures and infrastructure in our football development is the key problem facing Kenya. According to Kenyan and America-based coach David Kenga, the country has a talent and potential to produce good players. However, lack of training facilities and equipment is stagnating the sport. The same sentiment was echoed by players and coaches who attended, saying there is need to engage the youth at this period when a majority of them are idling.
Sasa mimi ambao sikufanikiwa kwenda shuleni na unajua nifanya KCP hasa ile kujitenga na vitu yani hizi challenge ambazo kwa nyumbani hizi yani ili mradi nisipate mimba ama hizo magonjwa, ilibidi kama kuna girls wana train, acha basi mpia mimi ni train ili mpia siku moja uenda football kanipeleka mbele. Sisi nijifanyishe tu nyumbani kwa sababu siendi shuleni, sasa sina fees, niko tu nyumbani sasa. Hapana,
naona kuna talent nzuri sana hapa Bangladesh, ni vile tu makocha wana vifaa na pia watoto wengine hawana viatu, na nafikiri huu mkataba tuko nao na Dad FC utasaidia sana kwa sababu tuna wadhamini kutoka Amerika, na pia hao wameleta vitu visaidiwe vijana, na pia makochi pia watafaidika zaidi kwa yale mafunzo watapatia wachezaji. Nafikiri pia hiyo vile hatuna academies, na pia katika mafunzo nimekuwa nikifanya kila saa, unaenda mahali kama leo nilikuwa nataka kufanya session ya shooting, tuko na zaidi wachezaji 50 but mipira ni miwili, unaona, so inakuwa ngumu sana kufanya mafunzo.
very important question because we know you're traveling home for Christmas. For those of us who are here, we're going to start with Nairobi, and the traffic situation in Nairobi, it's not so bad because you've moved home. So important question. For those who are moving to Eldoret, Nakuru, Kisumu, when is the best time to leave if you want to travel and get there tomorrow? A, is it very early in the morning, let's say 4 a.m., or B, is it now so that you get there in the morning or whatever time it is you're going to get there so that you can rest? Because the situations on the roads leading outside of the country, especially to Kericho, Nakuru and Kisumu, really bad. At some sports, talk to us at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. I am at Kiage Simba. That's exactly what we have for you tonight. Is a goodbye for us. I'll see you tomorrow for another edition of Look Up Weekend. Good night.